and he started to plot how is he going to build the greatest wall ever, as Donnie taught him. He built one layer of the wall and the second layer of the same wall just in case the first layer would fall. Of course, I didn't quite know what the enemy was doing. I was plotting my side stepping route, the flanking route. It was a quiet evening, just like any other. I was a bit under the weather and was playing some good old Necromunda. I was busy managing my team after a successful raid on some AI, you know how it goes. And then I thought, hey, why not enroll in an exhibition match? Oh, what's happening? I actually found a match? That was a shock to me, as for 60 hours of playing the game, I have actually never saw a living opponent. And this was my first opportunity to actually fight one. And he was immediately found for me. What a good opportunity, right? Little did I know that this experience, that this encounter, will shake the very foundation of my belief in the goodness of humanity. And it's common sense, actually. But about that later. So I enrolled into this match. My team was semi-ready. I didn't have a lot of consumables, but it didn't matter. All of my equipment and gear was on point. We were ready to do some fighting. And I was very curious as to who my first opponent is going to be. My team was already on a relatively high level, and I had a balanced team of five characters, which I thought is a great combination, because each of them offered their strengths and, most importantly, compensated over their weaknesses in the grand scheme of things. So I was ready to face any opponent, but then again I remembered, I sharply and acutely felt that my team was built around PvE, and I was worried that my ideas, my strategies that worked fantastically well in PvE will not hold as well in the PvP match. Little did I know that my opponent was out of this world. We went to the Nautica station, one of my favorite maps. This map has a great vertical layout, and this layout would lend itself towards us fighting in the straight middle of the map. Honestly, of course, although the resource points, the seedling cryopods and Nightbane clusters were very enticing to grab, I didn't really care about that. I just wanted to bonk. I wanted to bonk my enemy out of existence. And I was thinking, okay, so where can I position myself to make it easier for me to dominate the battlefield and establish a good position? I decided over the what amounted to the eastern side of the map, as I wanted to grab and wrestle control over the middle of the map. I was waiting for the enemy to make his move, to decide where he's going to position himself. I was expecting him to take the western position, but he went all the way back, and I was really shocked. And I thought, well, no matter, I'm going to stick to this position, I really like it, and since the enemy doesn't want to contest me, I'm going to fight him over this choke point over here, as I marked the number 1. I was prepared to fight tooth and nail for this position, but I wasn't yet sure what am I going to be fighting against. The information was lackluster at this point, so I was trying to make my decisions as best as I could. I already saw enemy position 2 engineers, and I was thinking, alright, what is this crazy plan that he has? I wanted to see it in action. I was getting my team ready. I also saw the sharp disparity in the initiative of all of my units compared to his. And I understood that I don't actually have to think quite as hard about this positioning. I will just place everybody and start thinking about the specifics, the details of my strategy later. I selected my Basilisk, my heavy gunner, as the first person to move in, and I wanted to get the position in the center of the map just by the rickety bridge over the center of the map. The enemy picked as the first person to follow an engineer. The team's name of the enemy was Red Snakes, or as I will come to call them later, the Guardians of Virginity. You will know just why a bit later. I took the position there and activated the aura to make sure that the enemy cannot oppose me in this position. And I decided to hide behind this bottle. I didn't really care about an extra Overwatch shot. I wanted to make sure that my character is safe and sound, is having a good time of your life, and is ready to make the turn first later. So I used the delay as my skill of choice. The cover was hardly anything nice, But the way my enemy was playing, it was hardly necessary. So Lydia would be making her first turn. As Lydia in Skyrim, right? Although Lydia in this game, in this team, on this team, had a name with an I. A small mistake to pay in the grand scheme of things. So my enemy went on. He moved Lydia forward to capture the elevator. But what he was going to do, actually, just threw me off so hard. You're going to see it in just a moment. He decided to shoot me, and of course he missed. What a beautiful shot. And now he was thinking, okay, how can I salvage this amazing turn? And he started to plot. How is he going to build the greatest wall ever? As Donnie taught him. He built one layer of the wall and the second layer of the same wall just in case the first layer would fall. Of course, I didn't quite know what the enemy was doing. I was plotting my side stepping route, the flanking route, and saw the pheromone canister being deployed. I also couldn't help but notice that all of these things were just at such a close proximity to each other that one or two grenades would completely dismantle this flimsy defense. So my saboteur was quite happy. This was the moment I was starting to think at how can I actually approach the enemy, how can I storm his position after I break these pathetic fortifications. This was the end of the first turn, and I was thinking what is going to be the best second turn for me here. And I decided to use my Mace Macy, right? My brawler leader, and I wanted to get her into position to get ready for the storm that is going to follow on the next turn. He chose another engineer, and here I was frankly stupefied. I didn't quite understand what the enemy was doing. I was thinking, alright, does he actually want to shore up his right flank? Is that really his strategy? I mean, it sounds nice if you're playing against an AI, that could be a valid strategy, but I'm not AI. Does he attempt to wrangle me forever? Does he want to make sure that I don't get out of my little baby cage? Of course it's not gonna work, but it was quite funny to look at his flimsy attempts to do this. Then he was thinking, alright, I still have 35 action points, how can I spend them to the best of my ability? Alright, I have this disc throwing weapon on my left arm, maybe I should get into position to use it. He was trying to find the perfect position, but then he realized, okay, maybe my wall is not so secure after all. As I was observing the Guardians of Virginity team, I realized that he doesn't have a single brawler, and his leader is a saboteur. To tell you the truth, at this point I stopped, I leaned back and I thought, what the hell is going on? Why would you take as your leader a saboteur? You see, in this game, the leader is one of the strongest units you can field on your team. They deal catastrophic damage, they can survive insane and incompatible with life wounds, and they're just overall incredible. But making your leader a saboteur is just such a strange thing to do, because saboteurs don't actually have the best weapon. They have a very interesting set of abilities, making them invaluable on your team, but they don't actually have the best set of skills. The best leaders, of course, are made from brawlers, heavies, and deadeyes, because those are primary damaging characters. Not because they don't offer any utility, they do absolutely, but they offer little utility compared to the damage that they do. Now, again, thinking back to my leader, Mace Macy, who was there at the inception of Jagged Jeopardy, and the reason she was is because she was quite invaluable to the efforts of the team. Allow me to demonstrate. Mace Macy got her nickname because she likes to bonk. And her favorite targets to bonk are, of course, engineers and saboteurs, the most pathetic of classes in the game, especially when it comes to resisting bonking. And this entire situation made me think, hey man, do you actually know what you're doing? I mean, I'm not AI to be wrangled, and not necessarily that slow to be stopped by this. I was shocked, frankly. And I decided, alright, okay, let's see what I'm going to do here. How am I going to outplay this? This impeccable defense, this incredible wall for which I was going to have to pay. I was shocked, of course, but not as shocked as what will happen next. I prepared Mace Macy for the following assault on turn 2. This was very important because it would give me the critical amount of points, the action points to use to run in and to bonk the enemies that I want to bonk. But I also wanted to place myself in such a position that I would be outside of enemy harm. So I would be able to hide a little bit and be prepared to do something productive with my abilities. So I used delay, I used preparation, and I was looking for a position which I can hide and hunker down a little bit until the next turn comes. This was, of course, a filler turn. It was merely a preparation for my assault next turn. So right now I wasn't really concerned with dealing any damage. I was concerned with having the highest initiative, and I was concerned about having the best positioning I can have. And for this, I had to prepare Drake to fix the necessary pathway into the enemy base. Then I chose Lay Low as my classic choice 3, my Deadeye, who was going to move into position to prepare for an assault next turn and maybe deal some damage at this turn. I was sharply aware about the crashes the game suffers when you go around aiming, so I was very cautious with my aiming, and then I saw the opportunity to hit the enemy in the head. I proceeded to bonk her from afar, dealt some nice critical damages, had a free reload on top of that, why not, right? And I dealt some nice damage to the enemy engineer Manuela. Now she was down to only 100 HP, minus 175 hit points in a single turn. Fantastic, 170 for exact. And I was preparing for my next turn to kill her outright with my nice delay action. Now the enemy was preparing to make his own move, her own move I guess. The enemy heavy, under the name of Titan if I'm not mistaken, is going to make her move. I was preparing for a nice overwatch, although it will never come to be, it will never come to pass. I was just making sure that my position in nice is ready. So Dina was the next to move forward. Dina was moving to the enemy forward position and was trying to make a good, how would I even call it, setup for the next turn. I'm not quite sure what the enemy was thinking was going to happen next turn, but nothing good for him, I promise you. So she was trying to sniff that 420 and find a good position to hunker down. Where do I go? What a difficult situation to be in. How do I even understand? Where am I going? Oh my god, where do I go? Alright, I'm gonna sniff it once again. That 420 baby. And then I'm going to look at Lydia, which is looking summarily confused, as she is camping the elevator. And he was thinking, I guess, analyzing what is the best way to proceed with this impeccable fortress that he's built here. Even Donnie would be jealous of such quality craftsmanship. So she used the delay skill to prepare for the next turn, which is a really great option, a really great choice. It will help her deal the damage where she wants to deal it, and deal a lot of it too, which is kind of dangerous. But not really, to be honest. And then he was waiting to go to a forward position. He decided to kneel, and now it was my turn to use Nietzsche, my ace in the hole, my saboteur. Not a leader, of course, because he's a utilitarian character, but he was ready to dismantle this pathetic structure out of this field, or actually out of existence. But about this later. His name, of course, was Nietzsche, the very man who could kill the chaos gods. He was ready to write a book about it, too, and he didn't quite yet have the crippling disease that ended up destroying him. The first grenade went off, it destroyed the pheromone canister, and Nietzsche was ready to proceed pummeling down with the might of German philosophy onto the enemy forces. But then suddenly something happened. Something got stuck. Something stopped working. I didn't know what. I lost control over the situation, over my character. I didn't know what's happening, right? I couldn't do anything. I couldn't throw a grenade. I couldn't activate any of my abilities. I was lost in space and time. The grenade that Nietzsche threw didn't only destroy the enemy fortification, it destroyed and ripped through the very fabric of reality itself. I didn't know what to do. I was stuck here. In my desperation, I decided to write to my enemy. Enemy, I think... I don't know what's happening. I started writing in Russian, of course, going back to my mother tongue, and then I wrote, I think I'm stuck. I think I'm stuck. I don't know what's happening. And that is when I realized the enemy was not here. His body was here, yes, but his mind was sucked through the throw needle by the warp itself. And this was my first experience of a multiplayer match in Necromunda. I don't know what to say except that I would kill him next turn. I got some easy achievements, and honestly, this very game, this very match, would go down into the annals of history under the very short topic, under the very short name of Easy Clap. Thank you so much for watching and listening. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you soon with a new video.